going on, friends? Time for
We're all friends? Friends.
We're friends now.
Hey, friends.
We're friends now.
Hobby friends.
Hobby friends.
This is our positive channel where we say friends a lot.
And because we're out of ideas, we're going to talk about...
We can't be out of ideas already. It's a new channel.
Today we are. We're going to talk about some... no, really. So you've probably already seen some of these. These are from the past Golden Demon in Milwaukee. Which we attended. So we saw these minis live in person, which was kind of cool.
That makes us kind of famous.
So figured this is our hobby channel, and we're going to have some variety here. So the goal of today is actually looking at these minis, these photographs of these minis, and just kind of, I think, like maybe conveying like what you can take from these, because there's a lot of like, you see this and you're kind of like, yeah, well, Jay, I put on, I base coat and wash, you know. I'm not really, you know, I'm not like non-metalling and painting these like types of masterpieces. Like the one we have on the screen here by Mr. Kentaro here is like, he's got a mural freehanded on, and he's got this classic scene. Yeah, it looks pretty nuts. Everything's non-metal and J.J. Abrams reflections and stuff. But I think as we go through these, we can talk about kind of little bits and bobs that you can take from it and apply to your own things. Chris is like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I always apply these things to my
Okay, so I can zoom in here.
4Xing here.
We're 4Xing here, yeah. So I think right away you get a bit of composition, I guess, is like a thing. Like,
what did this win something?
This was only a silver in Squatter Guilty.
Yeah.
So I don't even talk about composition, like how it's arranged, because not everyone is painting dioramas. But you know, the way the poses are, and these poses help you like dictate like shadows. So I would look at like the shadows on where do they put the highlights, where do they put the dark spots. I think matters. Maybe some of the color choices. You know, I can see the edge highlight. They've kind of gone a little like on the pinkish side here. If I
you almost have to when you do non-metallic red. Like it's almost impossible not to go a little bit pink.
So I would also kind of say like it doesn't have to be orange. Like all of us are used to doing with like we're used to going Mephiston red and then Wild Rider red or whatever Squig orange kind of thing on all our edge highlights. Things like that. Again, I wouldn't. If you're talking about non-metal or just ideas, you could look at the sword hilt here. Like maybe you could do that with metal paints too. You could just look at like where are these shadows going, things like that.
Yeah, so, for sure. No, I think you're right. The big takeaways for me always on these sorts of models were like, oh, interesting. Like, wow, they really put a big shadow there, and that's really effective, and that sort of stuff, right? And
not to also get too extreme, but this like column in the back, this is just like sponging and dry brushing. So not everything in these pieces is like this some crazy level that you've never heard of or can't attain to. Like there's some.
Well, I think that the great thing about that is that like I think like you get to a certain point where you've been painting for a while, and I don't blame people for thinking this way, but a lot of people like look at those techniques or things as like beginner techniques.
Yeah.
Or like they're not useful after a certain point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the thing to remember is like no, they're just tools in your arsenal.
Those tools.
And there's textures, and I think the thing it proves is like, especially when you look at some of these pieces that are like the highest level, is that there's always a place for those techniques to get certain types of textures and effects, right?
Yeah, and then you also have different like gold recipes. This is like, I don't know, what you describe this like a more yellowy greenish gold. Is that?
It's got like that ochre tone to it, for sure. Yeah.
So again, maybe not necessarily the non-metal bit, but some of the color choices, like they're like where they kind of what they pair with it. I guess what the tabard color is, you can like file those away in your brain for
those of you ever attempting non-metallic gold. Really, the recipe, it could be as simple as like an ochre, a dark leather brown. A white and a black, and then like you glaze a little bit of like fiery orange in or something like that. Like that's where everybody starts.
The next one here by Mr. Stephen Field is just a cute little mini. What I like about this is like small things like on the smoke on the ball exiting the blunderbuss. You can kind of get some ideas. People always asking like, what do I do with smoke? So something to notice here is this actually doesn't really go straight to black anywhere. It's just kind of like using like clever use of the grays, and this probably starts primed white, and they just kind of like use thin down shades of gray.
I mean, like stuff like that, like it wouldn't have any hard edges either, right? So like it's important to remember that
there is no
it needs to be soft.
There's no edge highlight here that is like sharp and things like that. So the rest of the mini looks nice.
You could paint that too, for those of you wondering, like painting your grays and stuff like that, and then you can like literally glaze in all the colors after if you wanted to.
Yeah. So we got there's always a million of these.
Such a great mini
in the thing. This is by Magnus. I'm not gonna.
Only a bronze, eh? Sorry, Magnus.
Only a bronze, Magnus. Oh my God.
I mean, his base is a little disappointing, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
It doesn't put him.
If we're getting into Gold Demon critiques.
I didn't want to be criticizing guy, but like, he doesn't look like he's part of the environment.
He's true. He's like so I don't know, angelic and beautiful, and he's just on this like rock.
This flat rock. That doesn't look like it exists
with
anywhere.
A couple of wasteland tufts.
And probably like this guy probably spent a gajillion hours painting this beautiful miniature, and then just like had to paint the base.
They're missing. I get the idea here is all about like making. So I guess we could talk about basing a little, like making the model the standout feature. But it's not doing him any favors. It's not enhancing anything.
I'm guilty of this too on armies. Sometimes I put so much time into my color scheme and painting the miniatures, I just kind of like half-ass the bases.
He's also, this is like a really stupid nitpick. It's not even, this is like, not take away from the paint job. This foot and rock make no sense a little bit anyway.
Well, you wouldn't land that way.
You would snap his ankle or whatever.
Even Dante would snap his ankle.
He would just fall.
He's very old, so.
He's very...
Why can't I die?
Very classic though, just kind of, red on the other colors, red, gold.
My only other nitpick on this miniature would be the red shoulder pad. Like to me, it doesn't have any continuity with the rest of the model. Like I don't know why that would be flat and everything else wouldn't.
He's got some very nice tabard.
The gold is incredible.
The gold is the star. Yeah, good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, it's
very
so
nicely
smooth.
Done. I also would have liked more color in the axe. It's kind of, you almost ignore it because of everything. I don't know. So. What would you take away? Yeah, a little bit of like basing, and maybe, I don't know, just a great, you should like have this blown up on your screen and copy it. If you want to like do the non-metal learning, you like put this like in your face and you have the model in front of you and you just just copy.
Yeah, that's a great way to learn.
That'll help you get there. This one's cool. This one I like as an example of like the color balance is like super nice. The base is on theme. It's not very exciting from a color perspective.
To me, it takes a bit away from the models.
It's a little busy.
It's a little busy, yeah.
It's a little busy, but the cold, teals is very popular in Deepkin. Is like the teal, the water teal color. But then you got this like what do you call this, kind of burnished old gold or something or whatever this is. It's
even that's been painted cold, right? Like
it's cold.
They've shaded that,
but it still balances like quite nicely, and it goes together well. I just like it's like pleasing to look at. It doesn't. There's nothing weird about it. It like makes sense. And then
one thing people can take away with this though, and this is something that's like, you can shade metals with regular colors.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a huge proof of that.
Yeah, you can see it up close here. Yeah, this is they've used color.
Like the fact that it dulls the shadow down is actually a good thing. Like it really can be quite effective.
And actually, the shadows are really dark.
Very profound. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this, there's just like So that's cool. Very cool. This is just a very clean piece.
James Taro, I've seen his stuff before.
I think
it's very nice.
I think what this I like is this feels like this is deceptive. This is like regular people are like, I could do that because it's like there's not like some crazy non-metal thing going on. There's not some insane. It's just such a GW mini. It's like we edge highlighted and did some nice little chip damage. What's deceptive is like how muted and weathered this like little stripe is with the icon.
All the stripes are
the little fading is. This is honestly like some solid base coats and like really really good like use of shades and like subtle subtle shadows and little scrapes and nicks to like tie it all together.
This is the classic example of like when you're doing stuff like that, you're trying to bring people into your miniature, right?
Yeah.
So like you look at first glance, you're like, oh, okay, and then you start to notice things, and then it makes you want to pull in and start to like,
look
oh,
closer.
wow, and then you're just looking all over the miniature at all the interesting details and textures, and this is the other thing is like
it's just beautiful to look at. There's like nothing.
You get like
technically insane,
perfectly smooth minis like the Dantes and stuff, and then these people are like, no, I'm not going to go crazy on the highlighting, but I'm going to add texture and realism, and it's
and like the color choices are like nothing is like looks weird or off. Like it all kind of just like goes together. I like the choice of the black and on some of the structures underneath. Because that's like shadow anyway, so it gives it like, I don't know, kind of like doesn't distract me.
Contrast.
It's like a good contrast. And it works with the hazard stripes, and I don't know, what is this even, this armor color? It's like it's like super cool, interesting, with like a lot of like, I don't know.
That could just be Dawnstone.
Dawnstone with like
it's shaded with the reddish brown hue.
Like reddish brown hue. Like it's like a lot of Brian Reichland and Agrax is just being used liberally. Like, I don't know. It's like I love it. I love it because it's like the purest GW thing.
It is.
Let's just showcase the model and paint it like
I can understand,
in its environment.
I can see that James also understands the contest that he's entering.
Yes.
He has a fundamental understanding of like this is a Games Workshop painting contest, and they want to encourage the Games Workshop style.
This is also a good like if you're trying to get like I don't know, raise your game. This is like in my opinion attainable. Like, you can like just follow the. It's like all about like taking your time, painting everything like slowly and carefully, and just like not worrying about insane techniques or I don't know. I think you can get there. Now we got a Chris model, a Nurgle.
A Chris model.
Chris has a make a good one, yeah.
I do. I love them.
I got Nicholas here, Nicholas Rubens Mortensen. Three names.
He's had a lot of entries actually.
Yeah. I chose this to show because it's like an example of like what you can do. Like it's a lot of like the same color, like or like visually, it's just like a mass, but like it's kind of like how you can, sometimes we have these models that are like all skin or all I don't know, some element, and I like the use of the shadows as a big thing. Where the light and shadow goes, it's like it really makes this model, because if you don't put the light and shadow in correct spots, it will look very flat. So
this model hangs like chromatically in like the same area a little bit too, right? Like
what's interesting is you actually have in between these folds it gets lighter.
Yeah,
it's like the inverse of what we usually. People are like, I want to make this, have my wash seep in and make this like all, but it's like the opposite. So that's like something to think about. And like it's just kind of like what you can do with a monochromatic piece, like the sand timer. It's great. Good job on the sand time.
This is an example of like he's not going like to pure shadow like as much as he probably could be.
No, yeah.
But that's a style choice as well, right?
Well, the whole thing looks really like bright.
Mid-tone bright, yeah.
Now this piece is funny about this piece in person looks very also because the lighting wasn't super good. It didn't pop at all.
No.
It looked like this really dull basic model. But I knew like then I was like, I bet you there's more to this than meets the eye. This is like deceptively good in every way. It's the subtlety, just the like how soft the little transitions are, and nothing is like, I guess what I would take away from this is notice how like nothing is not nothing, but nothing is like gone super harsh to white. So something I teach people a lot is like to avoid taking the straight white paint and just like highlighting everything with it.
That's rich coming from you.
I know, from me historically.
Jay's like, I've been there before.
I've been there, yeah. So, a lot of these brightest points are not like white. They're some really light gray or whatever. And then some items don't need it at all. Like this piece of armor doesn't have any, like it's just like a nice dark edge, So this is just like a piece of art. Everything about this, it's like, it almost looks like an illustration.
Yeah, because he's actually taking into consideration how different materials would actually have light applied to them.
This orc is like not very
Right.
big, and like even the little teeth on this whatever claw, it's like has like a careful tiny shadow and you know, and I love the use of the like earth tones and.
There's a lot of blue in the metal, which complements the yellow as well.
Yep, yeah. It's just great. And the face.
It's funny, he didn't, so if you zoom out again, he didn't put blues into the metals on up here,
Right.
but he did down here. If you look
Yeah,
down
I think
towards
it
the
has to
base,
do with
there's a
the-
balancing
yeah.
there, up and down, right?
Yeah,
Contrast.
there
yeah.
is.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just colors and ideas, you know.
You have to throw the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's all.
right?
Yeah, I got to give Alex DeSantos a little love here. This is just like a really clean model.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good example of like, and they tell this to people a lot. Which is why I love, also for shilling purposes, why I love Games Workshop minis so much. Is like the sculpts are so good. If you just paint the damn thing as clean as you can, it will look awesome. You know, so. You know, like this is a relatively, it's got some busyness in the chests, but like he's got a like relatively simple looking scale mail.
Everything's segmented and like separated, and
the guy just did a beautiful job on the face. Yeah. 'Cause that's like it's a prominent part of it's like the first thing.
It's the main focus of the miniature, right?
Yeah. Just a nice clean mini. Like there's no crazy freehand banners, murals. This is a case where the simple base actually goes really well with it, but maybe because of like the lighting and the color they chose, the little shadow I think he painted in, like it looks pretty awesome. So we got the big boy
to go to Bora, eh?
You gotta go to the big boy Bora.
Jesus, this model was unbelievable.
Very good model, very good, very nice, very good model. Yeah, a lot going on. I think actually.
What could a regular person take from it?
You know what? I'll tell you one thing.
Okay, cool.
And
cool.
actually, me zooming in isn't. Actually, Games Workshop has some very nice clipped, like close-up shots.
Sure.
It's not as smooth as you think it is. A lot of people, when they see the photos, they're like, "Oh, it's this guy painted like this like, perfect smoothness," and I'm like, "No, they didn't." They're like, if you see it in person, there's like something. It's a weird thing. You have to demystify it a little bit. That like. There is, again, the resolution of this image isn't perfect, but the Games Workshop has the close-up shots, and you can see, like, this person, like, there's brush marks and it humanizes it. It gives it some like, oh, like this isn't like a computer or like a guy who's just like a machine. He actually like. It was kind of like it's like when you get up close to a canvas.
It's a piece of art.
It's
right?
a piece of art, yeah.
And
so what I like about that is it gives me like some even in this like hopefully this comes through in this video, like you can see like you know, hey, I little strokes, and I didn't paint every piece of every feather. I just picked certain spots.
Yep.
It really like the piece is still incredible. It deserves to win and everything.
It goes to show though the piece is a collective, right? It's when you're doing a display piece, it's the whole thing together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So. And you know, especially down on the rocks.
I mean, the base is fantastic.
The base is super nice, but they were, you know, like a little more illustrative. Like this is not, you know, they took they just kind of free-handed in or added some of this like texture and stuff.
It reminds me of, I know they both have Calvo in their name, but like Sergio Calvo does a lot of stuff like that, where it's like almost like sketching a little bit, and then they glaze a little bit.
And also like not everything has to be, yeah, sure, you know, you could tell that Bora here, he spent the time to like make the non-metal elements look really, really crisp and nice, because they know that's what people are going to look at, you know, and the cloth is very clean and nice, but you know, some of this like feathers and in the back, because it's not the focus, it's all in the center of the model. It's all like
the blue pulls you right to the middle of the model.
It pulls you right in, right? Because everything's like
even the highlights,
like rather monochromatic, and there's like blander browns.
Your eyes have to go.
Your eyes have to go there, and then you start looking down a little because the model is like like kind of vertical like this, and then you look at the bird's head and the non-metal elements. So. Which means that the rest can kind of diffuse away into like obscurity,
and it almost should, right? Like it actually helps.
And even the flame here in the sting flame is not like the loudest thing. It's actually quite subdued. You know.
Totally.
So, so that's just kind of like some ideas for your painting. I think sometimes we lose a lot of time trying to paint every part of the model to some like swingy, blingy thing, and you can like, I mean, if you look at zenithal highlighting, the whole concept of it is to deal with like to get the eye to look at a certain part of the mini more. So anyway, especially for army painting and stuff, like you can, it's kind of a cut corners video. You can like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, when I'm like the back of the model, when I'm like putting shadows in, I'm more like, you know, willy-nilly, don't worry about it so much, like especially underneath backpacks and things covered by other things, like they can be flat colors, and you can save a lot of time and heartache by just like moving on and then focusing more of the same time into the parts that, like the faces and the chests. And anyway, so I think it's the last one. Oh, there's more.
Oh my God!
Sorry,
it's Mortensen again.
There's it's Mortensen again. Yeah, this was more of like I know it's a diorama, but it's kind of like a minimalism kind of example, like how again. I mean, there is subtlety in the leather with like the little stippling and stuff, but you know, not a ton. You know, it's a pretty simple model, just standing, and, you know, using the, you know, I guess you could take away is like subtlety in the whites, especially like the gloves and the hair. Again, this is probably not pure white. It's like the pure white is used very sparingly. Yeah, it's just a cool piece. The flames as well, not, you know, relatively simple. Some oranges and yellows to black, but just nothing harsh. I just like how clean it is, and a simple base that works. Oh, I forgot about this guy too. This is Raphael, Mr. Made My Own Model or whatever. I think this is open category, world or whatever. He's like, he like made the Taurus or something. No, the reason I brought this up was the lighting thing. Like you could, sometimes people like having flames or magma bases, and you need to like use, you can, from underneath, you need to like project some of that lighting up to really like drive home that look. Also another fantastic, this Gold Nemo is great for flames, like what you can do. And of course, like this makes the most sense. Sometimes we get in the habit of like, for some reason, making the core dark, which makes kind of no sense. I mean, if you like it, but it should be bright in the core and then diffuse to black.
I mean, I think it's because like people aren't necessarily like art trained when they do miniatures.
No, that's why we do.
And exactly. And they think like, oh, everything I highlight from dark to light or whatever. Yeah. And instead of thinking of like, where's the light coming from? And in this situation, it's coming from the combustion.
From the combustion. And again, great use of colors. So thanks for watching our filler video.
If you want to see, this is a bit of a test to see like if you guys like these sort of videos. If you want us to, because we could do, you know, critique videos or just like talking about different things people painted and
I know some people like the send in your mini and we can tell you what we think or what we should do.
How you can improve it actually
how you can
is
improve,
the most constructive, positive thing to talk about.
But honestly, look.
You know what we'll do too?
Look up. You know, when these competitions happen, go look at what it is and like clip them, take the screenshots, and use it to your advantage. You know,
we'll do some of these on our own, with our own stuff.
Yeah,
just showing people what we painted and maybe a little less crazy with the zoom thing though.
You don't want to zoom like this. You don't like this.
I mean, that guy's didn't even hold up when you triple zoomed there.
No, yeah.
Nothing holds up the triple zoom.
No, it's okay. It's fine. The thing is, and my last little bit again is like it's easy to get discouraged when you see the photographs.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, everything you see in the photographs in person is not like so bright. It's actually a lot more subtle and subdued than you think. And you still look awesome. Don't get me wrong.
There's a certain amount of compression though that happens with the camera, right? With the images.
Yeah, to take a full detail shot, the image gets flattened because you need a higher depth of field and all that.
So like you do, it does almost tend to smooth things out a bit more.
It does.
For the eye,
it
right?
smooths, so, and then they of course they do. They slide. They take the sliders around and they like you know, pop the contrast a little bit and the colors a little bit more. So. You know, that's why I don't, not to take anything away from the artists, they all deserve it and they're amazing. It's more just like we're in this Instagram world where everything looks so freaking good and you're like, I can't get there. It's like, it's a bit deceptive. It's like when you see it in person or you zoom in, you can, okay, like, don't worry, mate. Like, you're getting there. Like you know, so anyway. So I hope you like that and see you for some more.
Yeah, check us out on Patreon where you can give these suggestions to us and you can check out our exclusive videos on there too. There's a couple of them there.
Nice.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.